Let's take over.
In 5,
4,
3,
it's like iCarly.
2, 1. Welcome back to the Well-Grounded Podcast. We are your hosts,
Diane
and Leigh Ann. And look, we have guests here with us.
We do have guests today, and it is a very special episode because our second-born daughters, Charlotte and Faith, have decided to join us. When we developed this content, they were just so excited to be the first ones to volunteer to come on our podcast. So we want to introduce them to you. So Charlotte and Leigh Ann, Charlotte and Faith, take it away.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, I'm Charlotte. I go to Liberty University. I am graduating in December, and I just got engaged a couple months ago.
Yay.
So that's awesome. And my fiance's name is Luke. And
Shout out.
Shout out Luke. And I feel like that's a good
What are you majoring
What are you
in?
majoring in?
Oh, I am majoring in music and worship.
Very cool.
Hi, my name's Faith, and I graduated college in May with a hospitality and tourism management degree. Don't really know the next steps, but we're just kind of.
It's been a good summer because you're taking some time to just think about things and what's the next step.
That's right.
That's a good thing.
Don't really know,
Awesome.
but it'll be good.
It is good.
So good. So good.
Well, we're just excited that today is going to be an episode that we get to just have a conversation with these wonderful girls that have just grown up before our eyes. It's honestly so surreal to think that we have daughters this age. I honestly just, pinch myself over and over again to realize that I have these grown children. Where did they come from is what I say all the time. But before we get into that, we are going to get into our latte moment. And today our latte moment is coming from Charlotte. Charlotte gave us an amazing option today. And so it is called an iced lavender cream matcha latte. And this looks really good. Charlotte, have you had this on multiple occasions?
Oh, yes. I love it.
Matcha? What'd I say? Matcha? Oh, sorry.
She just put a little flair to it.
Matcha.
Iced lavender cream matcha latte.
Yes.
So did you, when was the first time you had this?
It was a couple of months ago. I walked into a local coffee shop in my college town, and my friend was actually the barista.
Oh,
and she was like, do you want something specific? And I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to try something new. And she was like, let me make something for you. Let it be a surprise. And then she made this, and it's literally one of the best things I've ever had.
That is very fun. Yeah. So this recipe is going to be on our podcast notes. It's also going to be up on our Instagram, and that you can follow us at Well Grounded Podcast on Instagram, and make sure you follow us, like us, and share us so that we can reach more people. And we're just excited about sharing this recipe with you.
Fun day. This is so fun. I was just like having this moment we shared in our first episode about how we met and what our story is. And obviously you lived in the same neighborhood we did as our daughters. So do you remember when you first met?
No. Yes,
She's just always existed. Faith has always existed in Charlotte's mind and world.
Yes. No, we were just really little. So, I mean, not like a specific instance, but I am older than Charlotte, so I would say I'm how much? I don't know.
3 months.
5 months. 5 months.
4 months.
August.
Hey, that matters a lot when you're little.
Yes.
You're like, I am 4.5 and you're just 4.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Those people love that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So fun. All right. So early memes, anything y'all want to share about?
We talked about this earlier.
Is this an approved story?
We're going to already excuse ourselves for lots of giggles today because I think having them on the set is just a lot of fun.
This is the beauty.
Yes.
So an early memory is so there was another girl in our neighborhood named Julia, and
Shout out,
the
Julia.
three of us
Love you, Julia.
the three of us would have sleepovers like all the time, and so we would all just like take turns sleeping at each other's houses. And so this one instance that I'm remembering the most with Charlotte is and Julia is when we were at your house and someone was on a trundle bed, and Charlotte, I think it was you, but you were eating a glow stick.
Why were you eating a glow stick?
A glow stick.
It was like
Disclaimer: this is not something you should do at home.
It was like 10:30, because
Y'all
we're
were up
children.
so late.
That's what happens at 10:30.
Don't stay up so late.
Just go to bed, kids.
Yeah. And Charlotte ate it and ended up getting like all over a pillow, and we were like,
The stuff leaked out.
Yes.
I do remember
All that.
this because this was my house. I was
Yes.
hosting
Okay,
this night.
so I barely remember this story. I definitely don't remember chewing on it, and that's what exploded. But I remember just like coming out to my mom and being like,
I'm glowing.
This happened.
with, like,
I'm not sure what happened, Mom, but
glow
this is what happened.
things.
Yes.
and I remember, I think it was Julia, and she's like, that's toxic. Yeah. You can't have that. And like, whatever, how old were we? 10? So it was just like the 10-year-old version of it. They were like, oh my gosh, Mom. And so anyways, I remember that story.
And you've lived to tell about it. So
Here I
that
am.
is the story.
So good.
Yes.
My skin is clean.
For all the younger moms, those things
Also,
that happen.
a little bit of a shout out to me not watching these kids very well.
Hey, we were definitely supposed to be asleep
Yes.
in bed.
Yes.
It was 10:30. We were crazy.
Yes, I know. Oh my goodness, so fun, so fun, so many good memories.
Well, it's really funny that you talk about that because in our one of our first episodes, we talk about our friendship story for ourselves, and we talk about you guys having these sleepovers. Like, it's truly a remarkable point of our friendships that we've been able to, as well as us as friends, but our kids as friends. So
and I
it's a
think
big
that's
deal.
one of the things that was so fun about having you guys as our first guests on the show is that we have this friendship, but y'all have been able to maintain that. You went in totally different directions for college.
Different.
One of the things that we focus on here in this space and in these conversations is letting God do something in a longer story.
Yeah.
Like, don't get caught up in just what's happening in these 5 minutes or these 10 minutes of your life. This short season, there's these longer seasons.
Yes.
And just all the things that you guys have seen. And when you come back together, just encouraging each other and just laughing your heads off. I mean, that's the best friends you could have. Like, so good.
I'll even bring up a story just because I think it's just fun. But 4 years ago, and actually it was 3 years ago, when Faith had her last dance recital, it was a really special time because a lot of things were canceled during COVID, and Faith was not able to have her last dance recital in 2020. And so the next year she did. And her good friends, Charlotte and Julia, came and just celebrated Faith. And it was just a really special time. So
Fun.
it was a
Had
great day.
one awesome sleepover for
Yes.
the road before college.
Yes.
So
Yes.
good.
So
That's so. Didn't y'all stay in a hotel or something?
Yes,
That was so
we
fun.
did. Yeah,
that
so
was so
fun. I love that. Celebrating all those things. That's so good. Well, we wanted to ask you a little bit because Diane mentioned y'all are second born. So you both have older sisters. Faith has also a younger sister, and you both have the caboose brothers that the little brothers that really keep us all humble. These boys, they're so awesome. So, but tell us a little bit about like falling. I'm a middle child myself, and tell us a little bit about kind of falling in the middle of that, like just being in the
family
with
dynamics.
family dynamics of having multiple siblings going on and all of that, so y'all can kind of speak to that. Like, you can be the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Like, and we're not calling out any specific siblings today. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Ethan.
No.
No, I mean, I feel like because I'm a middle of two sisters, I read that really cool birth order book.
Yes.
So I love talking about
Kevin
birth order.
Okay, me too. I'm a big fan.
obsessed
Big fan
with
of
it.
birth order.
So
Middle children love birth order books.
Even though there's
we
only,
matter.
There's only one chapter about middle children in it, and I think that's crazy. But I love talking about birth order, and so like, definitely like growing up, it was more of like being the glue kind of between the sisters.
It's a great
Of
analogy.
So like I'm just envisioning when we played Barbies.
Yeah.
And so it's like my Barbie would
Shout out to the Barbie movie. No?
love Barbies.
Those Barbie movies are
But
so
it's like
good.
we just
High quality.
Like, I was the one to kind of like bridge the gap between Emma and Sarah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because I mean they're not like that much age difference, but it's like I was
It's a 4-year
in
difference.
the
I mean,
middle
it's enough.
of
Yeah.
the two of them, and so that's just kind of what I think.
I love that.
I like that.
But like once Emma left for college, I took on a lot of firstborn tendencies. So people are always shocked to find out that I'm not the oldest kid.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
You do have, I know from being the middle child myself, like I had one family dynamic with my older brother and a different family dynamic with my younger brother because depending on what was going on, like when my oldest brother left home and graduated from high school and moved away, it was like that shifted and we were a little family of 4 again. It's like very, it's that long story we've been saying.
And I mean, I think you see it in Sarah when like I went off to college, she took on firstborn tendencies. It's just kind of like when the oldest child isn't there anymore. So
what does the family need at that time? And as members of our family, we step up and fill in what's needed, so.
Yeah.
How are you, Charlotte?
Charlotte. I think the main thing, just summing it up, I'm trying to like put it all into place in my head, but Julia is older than me by 4 years and Will's younger. True.
Yes, it is different Julia.
We have a Julia.
Sister Julia.
Versus friend Julia.
Yes.
My older sister is 4 years older, and then my younger brother is 4 years younger than me. And so it's funny because there's like a lot of seasons where like me and Julia will be in the same season, and then Will and I won't, and then she'll step into the next season, and then Will and I will be in the same season. And then, so it's just like
we just
funny.
talked about this. We were on a family vacation recently, and we were talking about that. Like, you're bonding with the sibling that's walking through that with you, or you're helping them through a season they're going through. So
yeah, exactly. And like Julia's newly married by a couple years, and then Luke and I are about to step into that. And so it's just like, it's fun to be able to go and be able to talk that through with her. Or even like planning a wedding, like Julia's my matron of honor. And so it's just like, you just did this, I need your help in this way. And she's also a sweet friend of mine as well. And then same with Will. Like I can just always count on Will to be my friend and things. Yeah. And so that's been really special.
Well, I think one of the things that we both have shared about our whole family dynamic is to have those younger brothers as the caboose is a very special thing. Yeah. It really does. And everybody in the family has a special relationship with them. And so shout out to those cabooses. We love them dearly.
Are they golfing right now? They're probably golfing
they
right
probably are.
It's dark outside and they're golfing.
Yes. And it is a special thing. It is a special thing. I think, as you guys have journeyed through a lot of seasons from high school graduation to college, to roommates, to things.
Want your insight. We want your insight.
What is something that you would want to tell your younger self? Like, what is something that you would want to say to someone to be like, listen, if I could tell my younger self, what could I say?
What I would tell my younger self is there's a lot of times where stepping into a new season, I would doubt the Lord in like such a big way. And then he like proves his sovereignty the next day.
Amen.
And so it's just like, as soon as I was like, I would doubt him for months. And then the end of it, I would be like, Lord, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this doubt. I want to just put it on you. The next day it would like shift. And that hasn't happened every time, but the months have gotten shorter of the doubt because I've been, without the big shifts in my life, I wouldn't have been able to see what the Lord can truly do.
Yeah. That's amazing.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Very good.
So yeah, that would be my biggest thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true in every way. The first thing that came to my mind initially, 2 things, is just kind of like, as cheesy as it is, just like trust in the Lord. Because in like high school, I'd say the biggest thing that I struggled with was finding like good friends.
True.
I mean, other than like you and Julia, I was like, not really on a friend train. And so in college, I was blessed with some amazing people in my life. And so it's just kind of like, that would be what I would tell my younger self. Because I'm like, I'm never going to have any friends. Like, I'm never going to have a friend that I can turn to. And now I'm like, moved out a little bit ago, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do without that friend. And so it's just like, But the trust that you're talking about is just a big deal, because you can honestly know that, like, telling your younger self to say, it's okay. Like, we're going to go through a hard time, but to trust that it's going to be it'll turn out.
So good.
And like, there truly is a season for everything. And like, there's a reason why you go through everything. But, I also would tell my younger self.
Got me crying over here. Faye.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was gonna say at the beginning of the episode, how many times do you think they're gonna cry tonight because their daughters are sitting here?
Yeah, it's very
Oh
special.
my goodness.
But I'd also tell my younger self to just full send every moment. That's something that I learned in college, is just to say yes to opportunities, because like me in high school, I was not a spontaneous person, but I think my mother and family members and friends can attest that I love spontaneity now.
Yes.
And so it's like,
You're still growing.
Yeah.
I think you are your full personality, your full interests, all of that has, by the time you finish high school, you're so much different than when you started.
Yeah.
And there's that feeling of like, this is it. This is who I am fully.
Yeah.
But there's so much more growing and learning to happen. And I love that you're like, I wouldn't have done this before, but
Thank you for the service of bringing the mic over.
microphone service.
I didn't even have to pay extra for that. I think my other thing would be, in high school, I really struggled with, I just had no gratitude in anything. And I really had this big change of heart when I went into college and when I left high school. Because I was like, wow, everything that I really knew, I'm moving out of my house. I'm leaving the school that I've always gone to, the church that I always went to, what everyone else did, my friends that I had, just like everything was turning upside down. I moved how many states away? 4?
Yeah,
3?
4.
Too many.
4.
Too many.
Too many. But I didn't know anyone there. I kind of talked to people a little bit, but I wasn't going with anyone I knew. And so I was just like, what would happen if I just came into it with gratitude instead of just this worry that I would just sit in of, what if I didn't meet anyone? Like, what if I didn't have friends? What if I hated my major? What if I didn't like my school? Which sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
But I think coming in with gratitude already, that I even got to be there.
It's a great
that I
perspective.
even got to be, that I even got to go to college. You're so right, Faith. It's like, that's like something to be grateful for, instead of being like, well, what if I don't have this? What if it will just killed me in the past? And so it's just been really
to be
neat.
blessed with that opportunity to just feel that gratitude.
Just
I
even
love
that is enough to like
Yeah.
step into a new season with complete confidence, and not in myself but fully in the Lord. And I think that was the big thing that I learned, that I wish I just always came with gratitude first. And sometimes I still struggle with it, but it's much easier now because it's become a practice instead of like, oh, I got to be grateful first. It's like, oh my word, like just sitting around this table with y'all, like I'm grateful for this. And that I got to come see my friend that I don't always get to see because I live 4 states away, and she's graduating.
I know.
And
now we're in a room doing a podcast.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so like this is just, it's just joy. Like I just, like my heart is joyful all the time now, and that's just only the Lord. So
here's a question just to back up. I mean, to follow up with that. No, what steals that gratitude and steals that joy from not calling out that this is all high school students? And for you guys, that was, I think, being removed from home and going away to school. I know that's not everybody's experience, but you do have some outside perspective when you move out.
Yeah.
And so what's the temptation that high school aged family members or friends fall for? What's that temptation?
I think the biggest temptation is just to like get caught up in like the tiny stuff, because
tiny stuff. That's good.
Like that really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like a silly little, she said this and this happened and like she looked at me weird or she didn't sit next to me. Like that stuff really doesn't matter, because like when I went off to college, it was kind of not like a shock, but like it was nice to not have to worry about every meticulous move that I made, where like, or like I was like, oh, I'm not thinking, oh, that girl doesn't like me because she didn't sit by me. I'm just like,
it's not under the microscope
she's
the same way.
Person.
Well, you mentioned that it was a really neat transition to say, you went from going to the same 7 classes with those students to seeing them maybe not even once a day. Like it's a really neat transition in your life to be like you're always with those people to then you're just with new people, and it does refresh you. I think it really gives you a refreshment.
Yeah, I mean,
some perspective.
I love college. I loved it so much. And it's just like crazy to think that I'm on the other end of it now, but it's, I think,
post-grad life.
Yeah, right.
You're going to rock it. You're going to rock it. I know it.
I went to a conference and it was like you could go to like these little sessions and like it's personalized. And so then I went to this one for post-grad.
Oh, good.
And the guy,
good.
someone was like, oh, what do I do if like the church at home that I go to doesn't really have college students? And the guy who was talking about it goes, well, you're not a college student anymore. And I said,
oh no. That was a hard reality right there. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That was tough. Yes.
Can you not say that again?
And it is hard. I mean, I think that's actually something
Thanks,
that
the
even
grad school application just
Yes,
went,
right?
went off right there.
to speak of that, you know, your identity has been in a student for so many years.
Yeah.
You have, that's what you've walked. That's been your talk. And it is a really different thing. And so, I mean, we're proud of you as your parents.
Thank
you know, it's not easy. So, you know, we're still here to walk with you and
It is
think
really
about it.
fun for us to have seen this develop. And it's just, I mean, just a quick shout out to Faith specifically. Just one of the neatest, hardworking, smart leader people. Talk about your firstborn qualities. This girl really has, like, it's been really fun to see the roles that you've and the different things that you've said yes to in college. Like, and it's just grown you so much. It's such a cool thing to see. But yeah. So fun. And this girl just moved really far from her mother.
Yes.
That's what she did. Okay.
I was going to say about the high school stuff. I literally had lunch with my friend today who just graduated from high school. And it's just like, you're in such close proximity with people that you just don't need to be close with. And when you graduate, you're like, oh, I don't have to like walk around these other 14 through 18 year olds all the time. It's just, it's a hard time where everyone's trying to grow at the same time. Then it clashes. And we both went to small high schools. And so that we definitely have that specific experience in that. I don't think it was bad. I don't regret high school or whatever, but college is better. For us.
The message of today's episode is
go to college, friends.
That's good.
And be prayerful about it. And the Lord just does really cool things with it.
Yeah.
And he did really cool things in high school too. But it's just, this is also just an age where you just grow a lot as a person and as growing into an adult. And yeah, it's just really cool to see how the Lord does that.
Well, I really appreciate your words. I mean, it is, you know, when we talk about the content and the things that we want to talk about in the episodes, we just really think about all the different people that will be listeners. And we really believe that a lot of those are just going to hear your words and feel that it is an encouragement. And so it takes a lot to come on. So we're very excited about that.
Question from the viewer.
It was a viewer. It was a texted in question.
Nice.
Specifically about, and this may feel like a little bit of a detour, but basically they were asking about how the relationships with your siblings shifted when you weren't in the same house together. And like the sibling left behind, which sounds terrible, but it's like the siblings that didn't go away. So you've both experienced both sides of that. You've been the one to watch an older sibling leave for college and still be home. And then you've also
been the one to leave.
And be coming back for those breaks, even, you know, whether that's summer or spring break or just Christmas. And, you know, what is that transition like?
Yeah.
Sharing a bathroom with your brother.
Oh. We'll get to that. But
let's not talk about that.
Let's actually skip that part. But no, yeah. So when Julie left for college, I was, I think, in 7th grade when she graduated. 8th grade was the first year she.
So you did all of high school, you know,
without Jay there. So that I remember being really like upset with her just because our relationship changed, and we had just gotten so close. Me and Julie were not close until we were not friends really. It like up until
she was an adoring big sister for you. Y'all just were always in such different seasons.
Yeah, because I was like literally elementary school, and Julie was in high school
with her
friends,
like that,
and she was cool for me. And I acted like I was too cool for her, even though that justice swearing little girl was a little crazy. But anyways, yes. So I remember being kind of frustrated with her, but then I left for school, and I remember being like, wow, this
Yeah.
is really hard to like keep in touch, especially with the little brother too,
Yeah.
because I'm like, hey, Will, he's like, hey.
Yeah.
Are you calling?
It's like, what?
Not a lot of words.
Texting
Yes.
helps. Texting
Yes.
helps.
Yeah, and we'll like send each other random stuff too, but Will and I think have also gotten a lot closer. But again, it's like that different stages of like the different seasons that we're into, like that shifts. So it's just funny because we are so far apart in years and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's
No,
been
I
really
like that.
sweet to see. And like now we're just all getting older, and like Will just turned 17 and Julia's 20, about to be 26.
She'll be 26.
She is 26.
Yeah.
Almost.
And but yes, so we're all just kind of like can talk to each other about hard things as well as
It's a new stage.
There's a family of
It
adults
is.
now.
Yes, I know.
Very
like,
strange.
hey, like
Yeah.
I'm actually really struggling with this. I don't have to just talk to Julie about
Yeah.
that. I can actually really confide in Will, and he's really wise
That's
17-year-old.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you want to share.
Thank you so much. I would say that me and my older sister Emma were closer growing up because we're
22
20
months apart.
22 months apart. So like we were pretty close.
Going
like,
through seasons
like,
together.
when movies would come out that were PG-13, like we could go watch
Wow.
them together
Together.
without Sarah, without the younger sister because she's not old enough.
Yes.
But I could get away with it.
Didn't realize that was a big deal, but all right. I love it.
Listen, I think about it sometimes, but but I think like when she
I love it.
when she went off to college, it was like I took on the firstborn responsibilities,
Yeah.
and so I think like our relationship changed because like when she would come home for breaks, like sometimes we would clash because we had similar personalities
Oh,
now.
who's
And
in
not-
charge?
Who's in charge?
Oh,
Yeah.
siblings back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like by the end of the summer we'd find a groove, but then she'd go back to college.
Yeah.
So-
That's so true.
It is true.
You finally get your
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
situation, get all settled in, and then you're like, oh man, everybody shifted again.
Yes.
So,
That
And then-
summer seems very short sometimes,
Yeah.
even though in the beginning it seems long, but then it actually gets really short.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I would say that Sarah and Ethan are closer because they're just closer in age. And
Yeah.
then like when I went off to college, her and him were driving to school together. And
Yes.
so like that's just
Yeah.
like time that I just didn't get close to him. But when Sarah went off to college, she went down south for her first
Yeah.
year, which was by me.
Oh.
And so like it was fun when like me and my friends would be
Yeah.
going line dancing. Like I would invite her and then her and her friends would come. And so like it was
So
just kind of like
That's a sweet
a
time.
new way
Yes.
for us to interact.
Yes.
And then we tried to do like meet up at Starbucks, but was a busy girl. So
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
had a class at
in
one
the
of
campus. Yeah.
one
near-
of like the remote campuses
Oh,
of
that's
my
cool.
university that was like 10 minutes from her.
Oh, my
and so like we would
goodness.
try to meet up, but it only happened like maybe 5 or 6 times.
And then you think
But
about
that's a lot, though.
Yeah,
I
but
think it's
about
very-
that dynamic that you're both away from
Yeah.
home,
yeah.
but living near each other,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I know Sarah will probably listen to this, but it was also a check-in for Mom on how she was doing. Yeah.
A full reporting.
I'm
That
gonna
was
need you to
always
put
good.
eyeballs on that
Yes.
sister of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can definitely relate to Charlotte with brothers.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey,
Why are you calling me? What do you need from me
Hey,
right now?
how's school going? It's good.
good?
Can you give me literally anything else? Like seriously.
You could communicate via memes because they always
Yeah,
love memes.
they
A good
do love
meme
memes.
always would
Look
make
at
things
her
better. Yeah.
connecting with the younger
Yes.
Yes.
kiddos. That's
Yes.
But
so
it
good.
was nice to have him because he's been working on his muscles.
Oh.
Help move me out.
There you go.
That was
Yes, the
definitely
brothers
nice.
are
His
good for
brothers
that.
are great for that.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. Is it true? Somebody told me that if your college student isn't responding to a text them a photo of your family pet and they will respond.
Oh,
That I feel
yeah.
like that worked
I
a
think
few
that-
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So
I
good.
feel like I usually respond to you though.
You were pretty responsive. I know if you weren't responding,
Very
you were
responsive.
genuinely busy. Like I didn't feel
We're
blown off.
responsive children.
Yes.
The middle
Very good.
children.
favorite.
That's right.
Awesome.
Well, we wanted to also ask a question about something that one of your fun family vacations or fun vacations and time that you spent with us.
Mother-daughter moment.
Yeah, mother-daughter moment.
It's up there with latte moment,
Yes.
but just a little below it. Mother-daughter moment.
Mother-daughter moments.
Do 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 do.
Okay. So my story is, I love it so much, and I've got pictures everywhere about it. So I studied abroad in fall 2022. And so while I was over there, I was in England, and it was just super awesome. And I remember talking with Mom, and she was like, oh, I'm so sad. Like, we won't get to go and do all the London stuff because you're doing that without me. And I was like, no, Mom, like, I want to go to France with you. Like, if y'all are going to come and visit me, like, let's go to France.
Let's do it.
And so they flew into London, and we took the Channel and went over to Paris and spent a few days. Dad was also there.
Dad was there.
Yes, we needed his wallet.
He's a good dad.
Yeah.
But it was super fun. And I think one of the funniest memories of that trip is the champagne bottle on the street. So Emma, she was like, listen, you guys have to get champagne when you're by the Eiffel Tower. And so we forgot when we were there. And so for like 15 euros, we bought like a cheap bottle that they were selling on the side of the street.
Yes.
And we tried to get it open. We couldn't
It was
get
just
it
for a
open.
photo moment?
Yes.
For the moment. I didn't know why.
To like spray champagne in the middle of the Eiffel Tower.
Emma's a photographer,
in
so
Paris.
she's like looking for the moment.
Exactly. But we couldn't get the champagne bottle open, and we're like shaking it, and then we realized it was a twist. And so we finally untwisted it, and it popped so hard. I took the bottle, I start shaking it, and everyone's like, what are you doing? You're getting these people wet with champagne. And I'm like, they're never going to see me again.
Yes, that was good.
I'm going to enjoy this moment. And the video is just pure joy. And then we got to drink some champagne by the Eiffel Tower.
It is good.
Splattering people you don't know.
It's so good.
I definitely think that we also share the love of the French language. So that was a lot of fun to order in French on the Champs-Elysees. And it was just really amazing to just be able to do that together. Very core memories for sure.
Yeah,
I would agree. That was a good time.
That one-on-one mother-daughter time. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Plus father sometimes.
Yes, and a dad. We love dads.
I think my favorite was when me, my mom, my sweet friend, and her mom, we went to Hawaii 2 summers ago. And it was just such a sweet trip that we got to have, especially with me and Mom, to have, because we're the middle children. It's not always possible to have the chance like one-on-one with your parent. Like Will gets plenty of one-on-one.
The last one home does get a ton of parenting.
Yes.
He would say he's over-parented, but
But that was really sweet. Just that we had that time with just the 4 of us, that small group, and to experience something like that, because I never experienced anything like that, and probably never will again. but it's just really neat.
But the adventuring of that, like, I think is for us, not having dad planning and driving us everywhere, and it was like the 2 moms trying to be the coordinators and the travel agent of all of that. But it was a really sweet week. We're always
I think an encouragement is to just say that, dream about that. We've talked about that in other episodes about, thinking about what are some fun things that you can do. When you do have multiple children, it's hard to always find that time, so when you can, and you can set that time apart, I think it's very important. And I think that's an encouragement to anyone that has a bigger family, for sure. Just
a little bit on the mother-daughter memories and travel and that kind of thing, that can also be a small thing. Like it's funny, like Hawaii was incredible experience for us, but sometimes I was going to say, as much as I loved that trip, and I was there with a lifelong friend of mine who was the other mom that went with us, that we were celebrating y'all's high school graduation. So it was like this big trip. But one of my favorite trips with you was when we were visiting your college for the first time.
Oh, nice.
And do you remember our big adventure? And so,
that was so
we
fun
booked a trip.
too.
Like, we just always went as a little family. Like, we did everything together as a family. We, unless I was taking them to see the grandparents without my husband, we had never done anything like that. And we booked our flights, and we rented a car, and we were driving around, and we would miss the turn over and over.
Yeah.
And Charlotte was like, good try, Mom. Let's try that again. And she literally lives... This is before, as well, she's still in high school. So she literally lives on the corner where we kept missing that turn.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
when
funny.
we were moving you into that
we were
house,
passing my future house.
we were
Yeah,
passing
and you
the
didn't know
house
that.
where she was going to
Yeah.
live. And
Yeah.
so it's this kind of crazy exit. Like you get off into
Yeah,
downtown Lynchburg and you have to
Sure.
swirl around.
Chaotic.
But anyway, it was just this funny thing. And when we were moving her into that house, which was also a mother-daughter trip, didn't mean to be, but it turned out to be just
We
the two of
really
us.
love my mother-daughter trips now.
Yes.
Yes.
we just keep getting defaulted to do these things. But anyway, but I was thinking, oh, this is where we were
Yeah.
when we visited here,
That
not
is
knowing
nice.
what school you were going to end
Yeah.
up attending. So it's just cool.
That's very cool.
Cool. Doesn't
Well-
have to be a big.
Well, I know
Europe or
that
Hawaii.
just sitting here today, just kind of talking through some of these things, it's going to be an encouragement to a lot of people. What is something that you are thinking about as you launch into the world? I mean, you kind of, are getting to that stage. Faith, you are in that stage. Charlotte's
Post-grad.
close to that stage. You know what?
She's
what
4
are you?
months behind you always.
Yes, always. It is. That is. Yeah, that is funny. What is something that you're thinking about? Like, what's on your heart about that? Your first, Faith, probably. You're 4 months ahead of her.
I'm 4 months ahead. I'll go first. I don't know. Can you repeat the question?
Repeat the question. What are you looking forward to about launching into the world? Like something that's coming up that you can be excited about.
I don't know. I'm just kind of excited to be in a new season again. I would say high school me didn't change, but that spontaneity, I've become more adaptable to change.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
so
So good.
I am just excited for a change of pace. People at the conference, they were talking and they were like, listen, post grad is different, but just like when you were in middle school, high school is better. When you're in college, when you were in high school, college is better. And so when you're post grad is better because you
That's
just
very
have
good.
Yeah.
each season can just kind of get better when you have good perspective. And so
That's awesome.
they're you have more free time to kind of work on yourself. And so personally, I want to
like
get
that.
into running because I'm not getting married. So I thought I'd run a marathon
I love that goal.
That's
It's
so
a good
fun.
one. Yes.
because
Gonna do a Disney
You
marathon.
should do the Disney one.
I mean, there's so many people online that are listen, I'm not getting married, so I guess I'll go run a marathon because those are the two things you do in your 20s. So
I didn't know about that.
I didn't
So
know.
I was
I'm sure glad I was getting married because I didn't think I could default to the
Charlotte?
marathon.
Are you going to run a
thank
marathon?
goodness.
On a
or-
treadmill.
I will not be running a marathon.
Marathon.
yeah, but I mean, it's just
so
kind of
cute.
I don't know, finding
Yeah.
my hobbies that I like to do. And I found some in college, but then I kind of just ran out of time because I was a full-time student. I was involved in my sorority, working, did a ministry on campus. And so it's just kind of my time was split and I didn't really have time for hobbies because I was doing student stuff. So now I'm just kind of
That's nice.
That's cool.
shout out to pickleball.
Pickleball.
I'm excited to get back into pickleball because I
Got
love
some
I
cute
love
paddles
pickleball.
online
Yes.
you can get for that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a whole section in Target right now that's all these. It's like tennis clothes, but they're
Yeah.
pickleball clothes.
Oh, that's fun.
Like
So cute.
what? 80s.
It's very trendy.
Very
It's very
true.
good.
I'm excited.
Can you repeat the question?
So the question
What are you
about
looking forward to?
how are
in
you
post-
feeling about launching into the world? What do you feel? What's something that you're looking forward to? I mean, you've got a lot of good things coming up in your life. So
Yes. I'm really excited to not run a marathon. I'm very excited to get married and start that journey along with my future husband. And then we're also going to be going into full-time ministry. And that's something that I felt the Lord's been calling me to since 10th, 11th grade. And so just to be able to...
a real dream turned to a reality.
It is.
Yes.
And so it's just been this really sweet thing.
Yeah.
Also to be able to do that with my husband is
Sure.
going to be just a dream I didn't even know to dream. And so I'm really excited about that. I think, I'm moving to another new state. I'm moving to North Carolina. And so that'll be a big change. And so it's just, I'm excited for the change. And like you said, that used to be really hard. And now I love spontaneity. And like I thrive in it actually. And so I'm like really excited for the new stuff, but I just make sure that I come with gratitude first, just so that the worry doesn't creep in first.
Yeah.
But there's I actually do have a lot of things lined up, which I would not have expected. And it's literally only the Lord, truly. But I just like come in with gratitude. This is not in my own doing. If I came up with this plan, it would be looked so bad. But it was just the Lord doing things and me having to come with gratitude and then obedience. Yeah. And then this really cool things are coming. So
it's a really good segue into kind of one of our questions that we wanted to ask today is about, what do you find, how do you find encouragement in those difficult seasons? A scripture that you might say is one of those life verses or things that just really anchor you. Is there a song? I mean, Charlotte, you're an amazing worship singer. So, Let me talk about it. Yeah. Is there something that, you just draw upon? I mean, I have my set and things in my playlist that I'm going to go to when I have those discouraging days, and we all have them. I mean, it does happen. And I mean, we're kind of sharing all of the fun stuff right now, but there were times, I mean, in college that you guys have had, difficulties and struggles. And so what have you done to find that encouragement?
I got it first. There's this verse that I always keep coming back to. I found it, it's been there for quite a couple years in the Bible there, but it really hit my heart during my transition from senior year into college life. And it's 2 Corinthians 12, 8 through 10. And it says, 3 different ways I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults and the hardships and persecution and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
I love that.
And that kind of changed my literal whole life. And when it says like that his power works best in weakness, I'm like, Lord, that's literally all I have.
Right.
All I have is weakness. And so just that he works best through that, that he could use me even so, not just even so, but because of my weakness, it's just that has brought me through the hardest moments of my life, because senior year was the hardest moment of my life. Yeah. And with all the COVID stuff and all the disappointments that came with that and hard friendships or just all the things, hard situations, leaving your family that I adore, it was all of those things. And so it was in hardships, in insults, in persecution.
It's a big deal.
It is. And so it's just like, now I'm going to boast only about Jesus. I will, if there was one thing to boast about, it's Jesus Christ. And so that's what I'll do.
You can't take it away from me.
Yeah, you can't take credit. Yeah.
I was a mess on my own.
Yes.
Literally.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to you because you have truly been, to just watch you grow in your faith and watch you grow as you've become a singer and just an inspiration to so many. I mean, it really is tremendous. And, we spent a summer last year together. We did a vacation and it was really an awesome moment because, you felt inspired when we were together and you wrote a song and that we actually had a little power outage in our house. We had a big storm and Charlotte just went off and wrote a song, and it was truly powerful to just see how the Holy Spirit has taken, a hold of you. He is in you. He is writing things and you are responding. And that's just, that's not something that we can take, it's like you even said the word gratitude, take and feel that gratitude because it's a great thing. Yeah, definitely. So shout out to you.
Song's actually about, it's kind of relevant to the topic of our podcast, but it's about like changes and like kind of watching your life change before you and not knowing what to do. So
We'll have to
Link
put it. We'll link it in the comments.
it.
I think that will be a definite. We have that video.
We
It's
do.
very fun. It's
Something
very
to
fun.
note about this trip is I wasn't even there.
I know.
I
It was
Sorry.
Charlotte.
Terrible. It was me and Totally the dog, the 2 boys, and the parents.
And the parents.
She
Totally
missed
was
you.
your friend.
Believe me, she missed you. She was like, and this
Yes.
is the part where I would be hanging out with Faith, and she's not here.
Yeah.
Busy girl. We do want to hear a verse from you. I know
Yeah.
you. I know.
I don't remember when I found this. So like growing up before each school year, Mom would have us like pick a verse, and mine would always be about friendships because
You were seeking. You were
I was
seeking God about
seeking.
that. Yeah.
I was seeking, and the Lord was like, "Hey, just wait until college because it'll get better."
Aw.
But
God's good.
this might have been when I went to college, but it's Psalms 32:8, and it's, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you." And it's
good.
a short little verse, but stays on my home screen, and it's just kind of like a good reminder for myself. And like this year, with all the changes that are coming, I always try to pick like a word for the year. And so my word this year is trust, because I don't really know what my next
What's coming
steps
next?
are.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's like
good.
I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna trust and have peace about where the Lord's gonna take me. And
Yeah.
so but this is just like a really good reminder, because it's just like the Lord is gonna make sure that He's determining your steps and stuff, and with His loving eye on you. It's just
Love
kind
it.
of
I love that.
a good. I know there's some versions
that's
that don't
so-
have loving eye, and I'm like,
we
that's
need the loving eye.
the wrong version.
We need that.
because it's a really good representation of like how the Lord determines steps. It's not like you should do it this way. It's more like, hey, child, you should go this way instead.
Aw.
His loving
It's
eye.
so, it's so, and now that you've your own testimony about that, about I sought the Lord about something for years, and He gave it to me later, but better.
Yeah.
There was not the sweetest kid in high school could compare to what mature young adults can offer you in friendship.
Yeah.
Even the best friend you've ever thought of, they still have growing up to do too.
Yeah.
So He gave it to you later. He answered you, but it was better than even what you thought you were asking for.
Yeah.
I love that, Faith.
I
I
agree.
love that. And I've seen you absorbing with ministries and giving out in ministry, and it is really cool to see that flowing through you, girl. Preach.
Well, the amazing thing is that our time is done, and
I
it's
know.
just
And
so
all for
amazing
today.
that you guys joined us.
Bonus
I think
episode.
it is very cool. You have made this. Yes,
Episode.
it is definitely a very special time, and we don't want to leave without speaking over our audience, our verse that just reaches, teaches and reaches us each and every time. So, Leigh Ann, I'll let you
The
say that.
well-grounded blessing. Receive this blessing. You guys, we're going to bless you today, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, and that you may be rooted and grounded in love, from Ephesians 3:17. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Be refreshed.
Be encouraged
And
stay
stay
well
well-grounded.
grounded.